Welcome to Jamie TV, thank you for tuning in. Cubasis 3.8 is here, and it's a big one. A great big update with loads of new stuff to talk about. The most exciting thing for me is we now have a suite of guitar amps, bass amps, and a load of pedal effects, and they're really good. I'm really happy with them. There's going to be far too much for me to show you in one video, or it would go on for an age, so I'm going to play you in today with a montage of sounds that I created with this new guitar and bass stuff. And that's really a very small taster of the sounds on offer. Make sure you've downloaded the Cubasis 3.8 update in the App Store. Then visit the Cubasis 3 shop to download Amp Rack, Bass Rack and Tuner. Add an audio track. In Insert Effects, click on Edit and navigate to Internal Effects. Select Amp Rack for guitar or Bass Amp for bass, and an initial preset will load up. These elements will always be in your chain: an amp, an EQ, tuner and a master volume pedal. The EQ and tuner's default states are off, but master is always on. This pedal will always remain at the end of a chain and is perfect for attenuating your guitar's volume and gain staging. Click on the name of the amp and cabinet, press here, and we can select an amp from the drop-down list. If you know your guitar amps, you'll know straight away which classics these are modelled on. You can select to have no amp as well. So for iOS users, if you want to use a third-party amp with these effects, you would easily be able to set that up. Notice that as I change the amp, the matching cabinet is selected as well. But if I go here and click on Link to unlink, now I can select whichever cabinet I want to go with my chosen amp. Click on Amp to make adjustments to the amp settings. Click Microphone to blend between two microphones and to select what position you would like the mics to be in. The microphone graphics do not move to illustrate the chosen position, which would have been nice, but the sound difference is seriously on point, and that's what matters. Everything I'm showing you in the guitar amp rack works identically in the bass amp rack, but in the mic section for the bass amp we have a choice of microphones, and we can blend in a direct signal just here, which is essential if you're serious about bass tone, as well as blending between mics and selecting mic position. These plus signs are where we can add a pedal before or after the amp. Experienced Things with Strings enthusiasts will appreciate the value of this. Interestingly, the choice of pedals available in the bass rack, which is extensive, is different from the selection available in the guitar rack. Over the years I've created some great tones by using guitar effects on bass and bass effects on guitar, so I'm not sure I see the need to make a distinction, but of course there's nothing stopping you from opening up both racks to use, for example, an effect that Steinberg considered a bass effect before a guitar amp, because we have this option to select no amplifier. Musicians do love to waste their time arguing in Facebook forums about what the correct order of pedals is, time they could spend creating instead of keyboard warrioring. That was hard to say. But whilst there is a good recognised ideal order for a pedal chain, the truth about music is that the only thing that really matters is the sound that comes out of your speakers. A smart musician plays with the order of effects with an open mind, because this can achieve some stunning results. A great feature here will allow you to do that. Press and hold on your pedals and switch them around with the swipe of the finger. Now here's a really cool thing. There's a wah pedal, but it doesn't look like a wah. If you go like this, it will sound like a wah, but you'd need to do that with a toe on your screen or some other appendage while playing your guitar. You can just leave it switched on and leave it in one position, because a lot of guitarists do that for certain sounds, but we can automate this. So just play your guitar part in, then press the big W to write, press play, and have a good finger. Don't forget to switch off write, but leave read automation on and play that back. And great news, we can do that for all the parameters in the other effects. Great for use with synths. There are of course a whole lot of great presets to get you started with all this new gear, and the tuner is remarkably good. Switch it on here to use this display, or tap on it to get the Big Daddy display, and here for advanced settings. If we go back to Insert Effects and navigate back to here, you'll see that we can also load up the tuner as a standalone effect. Now let's take a look at some of the other new features in Cubasis 3.8. Flip your mobile device on its side and Cubasis will now work in portrait mode. We also have external display support now, so you can use Cubasis on the big telly. In the Audio tab, we can now select input and output devices. So if you use a hub and have multiple audio interfaces available, you can now select a playback device that isn't the interface that you're using for input, and you can select between input devices as the fancy takes you. When importing a MIDI file, if that file contains tempo and time signature data, Cubasis will now recognise that. This is great for collaborative projects. While on the subject of MIDI, we can now loop record, and Cubasis will not create multiple MIDI files on top of each other like it used to. It will add all the notes to the same file. Now there are lots of little improvements and little fixes. I'll put a link below where you can go through them with a fine-tooth comb if that's the kind of thing that sizzles your sausage. Now on to the next big thing. At the same time as dropping this update, Steinberg have released 2 new iOS apps. Android users, before you get the tits on all is not lost, please do stay tuned. The new apps are both pianos. I'm not going deep into these because I'm no piano player and nobody watches my channel for piano demos. So just an overview then and the juicy bits. Etude is a concert-grade Yamaha C3X grand piano, sampled in a space acoustically designed for the purest piano performances. When you've downloaded the app from the App Store, you'll be prompted to download 737 megabytes of samples when you start the app. You have some control over the piano's dynamic range and how much key and pedal noise you'd like to include for authenticity. There's an EQ, compressor, and extensive reverb options. As a total non-piano expert, I think it sounds superb and I would happily use it in a production, and I have a lot of far more expensive pianos available to me on my laptop. But whilst this piano is quite versatile, it's a regular piano app, if a damn good one. I'm a much bigger fan of the other new piano, Verve. This is a beautiful felt piano, recorded at Yamaha Studios in LA. It is intended to be for cinematic textures and emotional pieces, and I feel that it is absolutely ideal for both things and so much more. Included with this piano are textures which are atmospheric sounds you can dial in to taste in the background. These sounds range from beautiful and ethereal to dramatic and challenging. The download for this app is 1.5 gigabytes. You have a lot of control over the piano's resonance. There's compression and key noises, controls purely for the textures, multiple delay options, extensive reverbs, and much more. This is an instrument to get really creative with, and for someone like me who's not much of an ivory torturer, it's of infinitely more value than an app like Etude, which just holds up a judgmental mirror to my incompetence. Once you've purchased these apps, you can then download a native version free of charge in the Cubasis 3 shop, and it will not be necessary to download the samples again. If for some strange reason you decide not to download the free native version, you will still be able to open these apps as AUV3s on iOS. Now, for Android users, thank you for your patience, gold star to you. Although these 2 beautiful instruments will not be available to you standalone and you can't use third-party plugins, you will be able to purchase the native version from the Cubasis shop and use them inside Cubasis. Hi, this is Jamie from the future speaking. I'm just editing my video right now and something's come to light that I just want to show you before we get to my hippie conclusions. So I'm inserting my little bit just to inform you of something real quick. So it used to be that if you wanted to export just the MIDI from your project, you would do this. You'd go to Media and your Mixdown and create Mixdown, and over here there would be a little button to press for exporting MIDI. It's no longer there, but you can find it by going to Projects, click on the project that you want to export the MIDI from and go to Share, and the button is now there. Steinberg do not shower us with frequent updates. What they tend to do is just a couple of times a year give us a big one. So we try and be patient for what seems like an eternity, and we just hope that it's going to be a good one. And in this case it most certainly is. It usually is, to be fair, but it's an interesting one because whilst quite a few of the updates are common user requests, the most common 2 user requests in recent years, an improved deeper sampler, yes I remembered, we didn't get that, and improved routing options, both input and output. Personally, I'd love to be able to set up my own send buses, we didn't get that. And also, on a personal note, I really want Groove Agent to come over from Cubase to Cubasis, and we didn't get that either. What we did get, which is amazing, is all this guitar and bass stuff, and a tuner, which I've only been asking for a millennia, Steinberg. I mean, it's great stuff. And you know, I'm not obliged to say this, I don't work for Steinberg. I've got plenty of great guitar and bass software, you know, I don't need to bullshit you. But yeah, if you're an iOS user, you probably already have some cool third-party guitar and bass stuff. But there's no substitute for having it like native in your DAW. And if you're an Android user, well, you can't use third-party plugins. So for Android users, this is an absolute godsend. It's great stuff, and I look forward to diving into it more. Also, the pianos are wonderful. Yeah, they're to pay for, but they're well worth it. So it's important, apparently, people who tell you how to get big on YouTube, you know, how to win at the tube, tell you it's important to encourage engagement. So here goes. So what did you think to this update? Did you get what you wanted? Is it awesome? Does it suck? Let me know in the comments below the video, please. Until my next video, take care of yourselves, be kind, be good, make lots of music, and do try not to piss pants about. I'll see you later.